Hi Flosstube, and welcome to my brand new channel where we are going to talk about cross-stitch. This is the Stitching Mermaid. My name is Gunita, and today I plan to give you a little WIP parade. I know I have missed the mid-year WIP parade season a bit. However, I think this is going to be a great introduction to my current WIP selection, and this is probably the last time you're going to see this, because I have some big goals. I would like to finish all of these WIPs this year. I don't want to bring them into 2026. And I have some bigger projects planned up to start. I very much would like to start a long dog and stuff like that. So I guess this channel is my journey towards it. I come to you from Latvia. If you care where things are on the map, if you can find Sweden, we are right across the Baltic Sea. We share this wonderful sea with the Sweden, and I'm actually lucky enough to live by the shore, and I very much enjoy my coastal lifestyle, and thus this channel is named The Stitching Mermaid. I live with my husband, our 2 cats, and Labrador puppy. They all will come into this story when I show you my WIPs. Some of them sooner, some of them later. But yeah, I think we can jump right in, and I can start with my oldest WIP. First one up is Halloween Party by Shannon Christine Designs, and this is actually the first project ever that I kitted up myself. I started cross-stitch a little bit more than a year ago. I randomly picked up a cross-stitch kit at a craft store. I'm probably going to show it to you someday and tell you a little bit more about how I got into all of this, but for the purposes of today's video, we can just focus on my current WIPs. So the pattern originally calls for DMC, and the total stitch count is 89 by 101. And there is some backstitch involved and at least one French knot, if not more. I don't remember exactly, but there are some French knots. So let's look at what I have done. So as I mentioned, pattern originally calls for DMC. However, my local craft store only carries Ancor, and that's what I picked up. So this is my own conversion. I wouldn't say it's the best conversion ever, because some of the colors don't come out as I would expect them to. For example, there are actually 2 shades of white or cream used in these candles, but one of them is not showing up. I'm actually thinking about changing it to a different Ancor floss, a little bit darker one. So we'll see if I ever decide to unpick all of those cream stitches and replace them. And it was actually a little bit hard to work on the gradient here for this lovely bowl full of candies. Just picking the right purples to achieve the same level of color coordination that we see in the original design was a little bit hard. I used some online conversion tools and also picked colors on spot at the store. Now I have moved on to using DMCs where they are called for, but this project stays as a memory from the time where I wasn't really sure where to get DMCs. I started this last year in August with hopes to finish it for the Halloween. However, I only managed to do half of it. It's 2-page pattern, so I did only one of the 2 pages. But my husband was very creative and helped me to display it in this current stage. So we just used the standard photo frame, and I was able to enjoy my WIP/finish during this time. So there is one thing I have changed about the pattern. Originally, the little flag up here, or the banner, had an additional section with exclamation mark. I have removed that and moved the whole banner a little bit lower. I apologize if you can hear my very vocal cat. Of course, he wants all of my attention right now. Sorry, Mango, not currently, okay? So as you can see, I have moved everything down a little bit when it comes to this little banner. just to make the core above the shelf a little bit less cluttered. Although I very much loved the original too. I have done all of the backstitch for this section and also the single French knot. I remember that was a struggle because this was my first ever French knot, but I think I did pretty well. I think that's it about this. I hope I finish it this year. I almost forgot to tell you that everything is going to be linked in the description of this video, so if you like any of the patterns, you can check them out there. Next one up is the Beaver by StitchwithCoffee. This is a Ukrainian designer, so my apologies if I'm butchering any of the names. I got this pattern from Etsy. You can find her shop as patterns.by.Stitch. And this little beaver is 89 by 109 stitches, and there is loads of backstitch in this design. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to include all of the backstitch or not. We will chat about it in just a second. For this one, I used 14 count aida that I tea-dyed myself. If you can see, I tried very hard to get a gradient effect. The lower left corner is a bit darker than the upper right corner, and I very much hope this is going to translate when the piece is framed. I also have found perfect, well, at least in my eyes, perfect frame for it. However, I have cut the fabric pretty small and I need some suggestions for framing tutorial that would help me to solve this thing, because the fabric will not wrap around any kind of size that I could actually put in this frame. So if you have any suggestions for framing tutorials for people like me, please let me know down in the comments. So this is the second pattern I ever kitted up. Right after the Halloween, I put away my Halloween party and pulled out this one. And this is what I managed to do from November to the end of December, I guess. Again, I was hoping to finish it for Christmas, but that was a silly idea because I started in the center, and this is very hard place to start because the draped fabric, the little scarf, is depicted in this section, and I feel like I started with a very intense design part, for me at least as a new stitcher. It took a lot of energy, a lot of counting and frogging, and you couldn't relax with this stitch at all. However, I was not ready to pick up multiple stitches at a time, so, well, at least at the beginning. So I pushed through it. However, I feel like it led to a little bit of burnout from this project. But when I was over the scarf, the face and the hat just flew by. So I feel like when I pick this up again in this wintry season, because I'm very much a seasonal stitcher, you're going to see that later on, I think I will quickly move through the stitching part of it. When it comes to the backstitch, let me show you the design once more. There is tons of backstitch. You are not only backstitching some of the details, adding, you know, the accent lines, whatever, you are also adding a fur on top of your stitches, a lot of it. So I have not decided whether or not I'm going to put all of the backstitch in. I'm definitely adding the whiskers and the little puffy things on the pom-pom of his hat, and, you know, the things that are very important for the design, but I have not decided about the fur. We'll see how fast the actual stitching goes, and we'll make our decision then, I guess. I haven't made any deliberate changes to this pattern. However, I can confess that the snowflakes are not in the spots they are intended to be at. I just went rogue because I couldn't count anymore, and I wanted to put this away. This probably won't be finished and displayed for Christmas, but I hope I will be able to display it for January at least, because during the winter time we often play a game called Timberborn. It's a video game. We play it together with my husband and we very much enjoy it. Yeah, I picked this pattern because it just reminded me of those cozy evenings in winter when we just sit together and play some cozy games, because we don't do that often. Then there are two kits I got as a present from my mother-in-law. She went to US to visit family and she came back with two cross-stitch kits, probably from Hobby Lobby. I have no idea. Let's just take a look at them. So the first one is a DMC kit. And this was very interesting. I have never seen DMC kits before this. And I was very happy to receive this. It came with everything you need. The aida, the DMC threads, the needle, and also a hoop. This isn't a design I would pick up myself. However, I'm excited to see it finished and displayed at my home. I have actually picked up a frame for it already, and I very much hope it's going to fit in the frame. I'm not sure about that. However, I cannot say that I'm enjoying stitching it, even though it's super simple compared to more elaborate designs I have already tried, like the Beaver or some of my finishes. It's very easy, it's lots of block stitching, but the thing is, the pattern is huge. I know it's great for accessibility, and a lot of people would probably enjoy it as a first try in cross stitch. However, for me at this time it works a little bit opposite. Just to illustrate this for you, I will take the page of the instructions that were also included in the kit. So this is the size of the paper we are working with, and imagine this design in such a big scale. It takes most of the page, so every single square is very big and it's hard for me to keep the track because of that. However, there is not a lot to keep track of because, as I mentioned, it's very simple design. And I am enjoying the finished product. If you look at it closely though, you will probably be able to see some mistakes I have made. Somehow this is my frustration stitch. I don't know if you have one. I don't know how it happened. Probably it is because of the simple shapes and how little of the brain power I have to use it when I pick it up. But I tend to pick this up when I'm frustrated, where I have to wait for something, wait for someone, or I'm just angry or tired and I want to stitch for the rest of the evening and don't want to use my brain. That's when I pick this up, and I think it shows in the stitching. If you pay close attention, you can probably see that some of my stitches are in one way, the upper leg goes one direction, and for some stitches it randomly goes the other way. Actually, in general, for this stitch, I somehow started with the wrong upper leg. I usually go the other direction from the upper left to the lower right. So please don't look at this closely. It's weird how bad it looks when it's not my first stitch, if you know what I mean. But I just let it be. I need a stitch like that. I'm going to enjoy the finished result. My mother-in-law always asks me about the progress, and I'm happy to show it to her, and she does not notice all of the mistakes and issues and how my tension is all over the place. And I guess I just need it, and this is part of my stitching therapy, and I'm happy that it all happens in one project. What's also interesting about the DMC kit is how much thread they're giving you. I'm almost certain that you would be able to stitch this one again with this amount of thread left, because I have almost finished everything, and for the some of the colors I have finished everything for sure. So yeah, that's very kind of them. What else I want to mention? Oh yeah, the backstitch. There is some backstitch involved. I have not done any of it. I like to finish all of the cross stitching, wash my fabric, iron it, and then do the backstitch. Don't know if that's the right thing to do, but that's how I do it. Somehow I feel like I talked a little bit too long about this tiny little kit. Okay, moving on. This is Kitty. Mini design for beginners, also from some craft store in US, probably. Most likely it is Hobby Lobby. As it states on the packaging, it's a complete kit. It comes with the aida, with the needle, all of the threads. These were not sorted. This is my first time ever dealing with a kit that is not sorted. However, there isn't very many colors, so it's easy to sort through them. And there is also this lovely little frame involved and a cardboard to mount it all on. So very nice kit when it comes to the composition. Design, again, is not something I would pick out myself, but I very much appreciate that she picked something with cats, because I absolutely love my two boys. I'm going to tell you all about them in the next two WIPs. So yeah, I have the tiniest, the most ridiculous start in this. I'm sorry about that, but it's a start. And I probably could whip this up in one evening or something, but that evening has not come yet. So here comes the story that ties in my family and probably will help you to get to know me a little bit more. So I have this lovely space as my office and craft room. And during the Christmas time, for the first time ever this year, I had my own Christmas tree here. I decorated it in my favorite colors and everything. And it was just a little special treat for myself. And one day I come into this office just before the Christmas, and the whole Christmas tree is decorated with DMC skeins. And under the tree there are two lovely letters from my cats, because I have two cats, Mango and Blueberry. This one was from my Tabby cat, Mango. I hope you can see that right. Yeah, I guess you can see it. This is a pretty lovely pattern called Sunflower Tabby. I actually had mentioned this designer and these patterns to my husband a little while ago, and I'm fortunate to have a husband who is very attentive and who loves to support my hobbies, and he found a designer. He mentioned that he struggled to understand the whole cross-stitch world, and the designer has been very helpful to him. He found a place to purchase all of the DMCs, because it's not easy in Latvia. It's not hard, but it's not super easy. You can't just go in any craft store and pick them up. And yeah, he got everything I need. I mean, he got all of the DMCs and he got these patterns. So I believe it's needless to say that I was very much overjoyed about this little surprise, and I wanted to make it extra special and dive into fabric dyeing for this. So I got my 14 count white aida and I ice dyed it in this very lovely color, which is variations of lovely purples and blues to illustrate summer or spring skies. And I used it for this pattern and the next one. So here you can see what I have done. I have used all of the called for DMCs. However, there are some changes. I omitted the darker lines in the chest of the kitty. I just felt like I don't need them. But with doing so, I'm missing some of the contrast between the chest part and the head. So I used a little bit of backstitch with the brown that's predominantly used in the cat's body, so to do the separation. And I made another change to this WIP to resemble my cat even more. I changed the color of the stripes. Instead of using the light creamy color that the designer is calling for, I picked the darkest of the browns that I could find already in this pattern, and that's the color of the eyes. It's a lovely dark brown DMC, and I used it everywhere instead of this creamy stripy color that is used originally. And I think it resembles my mango a little bit better. I think that's all of the changes. I haven't put in the backstitch. There is a little bit of backstitch in this pattern. It's in the whiskers and also a little bit in the grass, just to add a little bit more dimension. I feel like this designer is very, very clever. I used one of the Stitch with Coffee patterns last December for a gift stitch, and I was introduced to so many interesting thread types because she's not only using the classic DMCs, but she's also introduced me to petite braid and some sparkle toil threads and stuff like that. So I'm definitely, and beading, definitely beading. It was a first for me when it comes to the beading. So there is a lot to uncover with these very simple designs, and they're simple yet very effective. And of course, I love cats. So sorry about my little tangent. I'm just a very big fan. I believe it's a bit too early to call my favorite designer, as I already mentioned probably, but I will be always stitching one of her designs. Anyways, okay, getting back to this WIP, I still have to add the sunflowers and the little grass, and I hope to do it this month and finish it. Pom-pom trim is already on its way, and I can't wait to display it. Also, can we take a moment to check out this lovely needle minder? This is hand painted by Lindsay. I was very, very lucky winner of her giveaway on her YouTube channel. You should check out her Flosstube. It's Stitching Magic 111 here on YouTube. You can also find her on Instagram. And she is now officially offering her needle minders on her coffee shop. So you should check it out if you want one. There are loads of lovely designs, and I absolutely love how this specific needle minder matches the project. This is Tuxey's Lemon Tree by Stitch with Coffee. Again, you can find this pattern on her Etsy shop. And this resembles my cat Blueberry very, very much. He loves to sleep in this exact position, which is even more hilarious. I'm again using 14 count Aida, and I have dyed it in the same batch I did the last one. And I think this will help to tie both designs together when I'm displaying them. And I'm using all of the called for DMCs because they were gifted to me on the Christmas tree, as I mentioned. The only exception is the black. I'm using Ancor black. It's 401, I believe. I will correct myself on the screen if I'm just talking absolute nonsense. But I'm using Ancor black just because I have tons of it, because I purchased tons of it when I started out. But the pattern calls for a little bit more grayish black. However, I wanted this cat to be like super, super black to resemble my Blueberry, so I used this one instead. I also love the contrast it gives. So as you can see, I have finished the cat, at least the cross-stitch part, because there is some backstitch for the whiskers and for the facial features. I used 3 strands of black just to amp up the coverage. And for the rest of the design, I'm using 2 strands over 1. This pattern actually has with extra chart. This chart only depicts lemon lemonade, a glass of lemon lemonade, I guess, and I have not started it. However, I have prepared fabric for it in the same style in case I want to display them together. I actually haven't decided yet. Maybe I'm going to make a scissor fob or pink cushion. I don't know yet. I can decide that later on because the goal for this summer is to finish both cat portraits. I also forgot to mention that I only started to work on them at the beginning of the summer, and I have actually worked on each of them for 3 nights max, 20 minutes each night, so I could whip these up way more faster. I just haven't had a lot of stitching time, so I hope to fix it in the upcoming months. And I hope that this channel will help me to keep myself accountable, because I love cross stitch, I have great plans, and I love finished projects. I just have been very busy with my other hobbies. I can actually mention them. I love needle felting. I actually recently finished 2 very special commissions. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you about them, but they were very elaborate, so it took most of my free time. I also love photography and baking, so all of these things are fighting over my personal time and, of course, family life and everything. Usually fall gives me a lot more time to craft, so I guess my stitching bug will take over. I guess this brings us into plants. So I hope to finish Cactus Kit and the 2 cat portraits from Stitch with Coffee before I move into my new projects. I have a lovely design that my husband gifted me for my birthday that has mushrooms on it, because I very much love mushroom picking. It's one of my best hobbies, and I'm now doing it together with our puppy, who is very much enjoying it. I think even more so than I. So that's coming up. And I also have very summery stitch from Una Buena Peza. I'm certain I'm butchering it. I'm so sorry. But I very much look forward on starting on that. These 2 will definitely not be finished this year because they are a little bit bigger than the things I'm currently working on actively. But I hope to start them while it's still warm and before we move into the Halloween and Christmas stitching, which usually comes up in the autumn. Thank you if you are still here. I would actually be pretty surprised if anyone found this video, because as I mentioned, I'm very new to this community. You can also find me on Instagram as The Stitching Mermaid. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please let me know in the comments what you worked on. If you liked it, you could maybe click the thumbs up button. That doesn't even require you to write a comment if you don't want to. Or if you don't like it, then I should stop this thing. Please click the thumbs down button, because I would very much appreciate a feedback. Any kind of feedback, really. I'm excited to join this community. I don't know anyone in my real life who stitches, and I don't know how to do Instagram properly. I'm not very active there myself. I'm stalking everyone, but I'm not posting as much as I probably should. So yes, I hope that even if nobody finds these videos, or nobody watches them, till the end to listen to my rambling about this, I hope that this at least brings me joy, and maybe some of you will find joy in my WIPs. Thank you again, and see you in the next one. Bye!